Hi everyone, it's your girl Yele. Hey, first of all, I want to wish you all Merry Christmas in arrears. I want to wish you a Happy New Year in advance. Happy holidays to all Yele Nation. I see you. I see you. Thank you so much for your journey, like for journeying with me through this year. I really appreciate you guys sticking with me. Much love, man. This is like the last video of the year, so I wanted to tell everyone thank you and know that you guys, I love you, my Yele nation, my Yele people. Thank you very much for sticking with me. It's a gift tutorial. You understand what I'm saying? I made this for a lot of people during this Christmas period, and everybody like wanted to gift someone this, you know, this beautiful fur fur headband. So today's tutorial is going to be about how to create a fur headband for a loved one, just to keep them warm during this winter season because it's cold out there, guys. My ears, they freeze. So this makes it all warm and cozy, and ooh, when I touch itself, I feel good. So anyways, today's tutorial is on how to make it. So stay tuned. Let's do this together. Okay, so in my case, I bought like a yard of this fur fabric. Like it is like the most expensive fabric I ever bought in my entire life. It was like the price, it's about $55 per yard. So even my credit card wept when I did this. But we are doing it for, Christmas period. Since Jesus wept, let us weep too. It's fine. Alright, so the next thing that I did was I cut out the fur by it was 23 inches by 6 inches, and you see what I'm doing? I'm using like a razor blade to cut out the traced line that I made on the fur fabric. The reason why I did that is because I wanted to reduce shedding. If you use your scissors instead to cut this out, or more, like there's gonna be like fur everywhere, and you wouldn't like that. Everywhere would like look like a mess, and that is why I used the blade to do it. And you see very little shedding. I learned this trick from one of my fashion mentors, and it has really helped me with working with fur. All right, so the next thing that we want to do is to cut out our lining, the same measurement, but we're adding extra 2 inches. So instead of 23 by 6, I measured 25 by 6 for my satin lining, because we're going to fold it by the two sides later, and I wanted to make create the allowance for it ahead of time. Okay, so now let's remove this away from the picture. I beg. So next thing now is like what I said earlier. The reason why we added the extra inches was to fold the sides. So I'm gonna place this on the satin on the fur, because you know how I like satin lined hair accessories. Like you should see my entire playlist of satin lined hair accessories. I have a lot of videos on that. You should check it out. Alright, so I'm gonna take that to the sewing machine now, and I have sewed the two sides of it by 0.5 and another 0.5 inches, same allowance on both sides, and that's why I used 2 inches. So the next thing now is to get my elastic thread. This elastic thread has a width of 2.5 inches, like the width, and I'm going to cut out a length of 3.5 inches, and I'm going to cut it into two like that. Then I'm going to cut it into two again. So you really need like an elastic of 1 inch. If you don't have this one, i I wish I had a 1 inch elastic, a black 1 inch elastic. The one I had was white, so I couldn't use it. So just have a 1 inch or 1.5 or 1.25 inches elastic, and then cut out 3.5 inches, and you should be good. So I'm going to place both of them like that on each other, and I'm going to measure in about 1.25 inches into the fur part, and then I'm going to stitch it right on the elastic. The reason why I'm stitching right on the elastic, I wouldn't do that for any other material, but you know, fur is so fluffy, you won't see the thread on the other side. Like you can get away with stitching directly on the fabric for fur, because it won't show on the other side. It will still look very neat and very fluffy on the other side. So let's go do that. Now after doing that, you see that I left a little bit of space above, and I left a little bit of space underneath. That is for the seam allowance for me to turn my satin lining with the fur cap area. So don't forget to put the 0.5 inches seam allowance on upward, like while you're putting your elastic. Like don't put your elastic at the tip like drop it down by 0.5 to 0.75 inches. So now I'm going to stitch the top part, but because both of them are slippery, the fur is slippery, the satin is slippery, everything is slippery. I can't do my jagaban waist. I can't do like my, Van Damme waist. I have to like use pin to pin it together. So please pin it together. Now, after sewing the up and the down, I realized that I should have probably used zigzag stitches on it, but mm, it was too late by the time I realized it. So you should use zigzag stitches also, because satin phrase, if you've watched all my previous videos, you will have heard me say this over and over again. So make sure you use a zigzag stitch or serge the ending so that your work doesn't fall apart after a while. But I think my stitch is strong, so I'm gonna just leave it for now. So after doing that, we're going to then sew on the other side of our elastic to the other side of our headband. So we're going to make like a complete ring like you're seeing me do now, and then I'm going to fold it in just like that and put it inside about the same inches that I did the first one. So about 1.25 inches or 1.5 inches inside. You see that at the back the four covers each, like they cover each other. That's why it's so fluffy and so nice. I said fluffy. It's fluffy and so nice. So like this headband, it like it knits itself. It creates option for it to be knit by itself. You understand? All right. So you're going to sew the other end of the elastic to this side, and for this step, you can always use a glue gun if you don't want to stitch. You can use a glue gun for the entire process even. Though you see it's very simple and easy to make. You can make this, give someone for the new year, give someone for their birthday, especially when it is cold outside. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, share it to your friends, subscribe to my channel. Don't just watch and run away. Bye and happy holidays again.